Today let's talk about a few very basic crochet stitches to get you started crocheting. I also want to talk about how we choose among these basic stitches because I think a lot of time when you watch a crochet tutorial, you just follow their pattern. They just say do this, do that. But if you understand why we choose these stitches, but if you understand the differences between these stitches and why we would choose them on different projects, it's a lot easier for you to come up with your own pattern and come up with your own creation. So let's get started. When you're creating any flat project or a 2D project, a lot of time we will use a slip knot to begin. For example, if you are making a sweater or you're making a scarf, you will start with a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, we're holding the yarn like this. I like to hold it on the round end of it, and we can turn and you pull the long side through this loop, just like you would normally do to make a regular knot, but we still keep the short tail on this end. So at this point, you can insert your hook and pull it tight. So that is a slip knot. It's called slip knot because if you pull this short tail, you can easily break this through. So let's do that again. So hold the yarn like this, one short tail, one long tail, and you can turn the wrong way, pull the long tail through this loop, insert the hook, and just pull it tight. That is your slip knot. After you make the slip knot, the next step is usually a chain. Chaining is also a very basic stitches for a lot of projects. So to chain, after you insert the hook, you hold the long tail of the yarn this way and pull your yarn over, pull through this loop. So that's one chain. And I would move my thumb and my other finger to hold the yarn a little bit closer to where I chain. And then you yarn over again, pull it through. That's my second chain. To chain more, I will continue to yarn over, pull through the loop, the third chain. So as you move along to make your chain longer and longer, you will move your finger up to hold the project better, so it's easier to maneuver the yarn. So let's chain a few more. One tip for beginner is that when we first started, we always kind of afraid that the yarn would get loose, so we pull it very, very tight, or we make this loop very, very tight. So that would make the project, when you start to make stitches, it will be a little bit difficult. So after some practice, you will slowly get more comfortable with the yarn, and when you chain, leave a little bit of space so you will see that little bouncy kind of effect here. That way you will have extra space when you make stitches. How do you count your stitches when you chain? So you see these V's here. Every V is one stitch. So in this chain we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's chain one more to make it 10. So now we have 10 chains. So next, let's look at single crochet. So single crochet is also a very, very commonly used stitch, very basic stitch for all kinds of projects. It could be a 2D project, it could be a scarf, a sweater. You would also use single crochet in a lot of crochet animal projects. To single crochet, I'm holding on to this loop. You would turn your chain sideways like this. So different people will have different way to create their single crochet. Most basic way is to insert your hook to this V here, not the first V, but the second V here. So you would insert this loop into this V, two loops on your hook. Now you yarn over. Now you really have 2 loops on your hook. Now you yarn over, pull it through. That is our first single crochet. As you can see, you will see 2 loops and then your hook will be holding on this working loop. So that's our first single crochet. So let's work a couple more. Insert, yarn it through. You have 2 loops on your hook and yarn over, second single crochet. Let's do a couple more. Insert, yarn over. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, single crochet. So you will continue to work on the chain on your single crochet. There are certain projects, some people also like to not use this V as an insert point, but use the back loop, the little bump here. So if you turn your chain, you will see this little bump here. Some people also like to use the bump as the insert point to make the single crochet. So it's up to you. If you are absolute beginner, use the V to get yourself more familiar with the stitches first, and then move on to using the bump. So that's the full row of single crochet. After I've done a few rows of single crochet, it will look like this. By the way, when I talk about single crochets, double crochets, they are the US terms. So if you are in the UK, their terms is a little bit different. The single crochet that we work on just now, in the UK, it's actually called double crochets. So if you watch different tutorials and they have different terms, sometimes they will tell you they're using UK terms, they're using US terms, but the stitch that we just practiced was single crochet in the US and it's called double crochet in the UK. So now we're talking about double crochet in the US. So double crochet is a little bit different than single crochet. Once you kind of get familiar with the stitches, their concept is the same. So to make a double crochet, normally when you work a crochet stitch, we will insert it into this V here, like this. So for a double crochet, before you insert, we actually yarn over the loop once, and then you insert it into the V, yarn over, pull through. Now you actually have 3 loops on your hook. We yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. So you yarn over twice basically. Let's try that again. We yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over again, pull through the 2 loops. Now you have your double crochet. Let's do it one more time. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through the loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over the first 2 loops, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over the 2 loops. You have your double crochet. So double crochet looks like this after I work a few rows. As you can see, the double crochet, each stitch is taller than single crochet. And if you work in a flat project, there will be a little bit of gap in between those stitches as well. When you get to the point you want to start your own project, just keep in mind that when you use these stitches, it will create these little gaps on your project. So this is the single crochet, which is very short. They're pretty tight, not a lot of stretchy ability. This is a double crochet, which is taller in each row, but there's a little gap in between the stitch. So you have a little bit of stretchy ability in your project. Now let's talk about extended double crochet. So extended double crochet is an extended version of the double crochet. To do an extended double crochet, just as the double crochet, we're gonna yarn over once, insert the loop, yarn over, pull through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Normally we would yarn over the 2 loops and yarn over one more time to get double crochet. For the extended double crochet, we yarn over and we only pull through the first loop. Now you continue to have 3 loops on your hook. Then just like the double crochet, we're gonna yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops left on the hook, and yarn over, pull through. So that's your extended double crochet. Let's try it a couple more times. We yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over to pull through the first loop, yarn over to pull through 2 loops, yarn over one more time. So you yarn over 3 times basically. Let's do that one more time. Yarn over, insert, you yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1 loop. Now you still have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over. So extended double crochet. Now if we compare the stitches between double crochet and extended double crochet, so the middle row here is the double crochet that I did earlier, and this new row is our extended double crochet. The extended double crochet is a little bit taller than the double crochet because of that extended yarn over stitch. The gap is about the same, it's just a little bit taller. So sometimes when we choose different projects, this taller loop may save us some stitches, like depending on what your project is and how big you need it to be. Sometimes it's worth using a taller stitch to create the same size compared to using a shorter stitch. When you use a shorter stitch, you will need more stitches and it will be more time. But if you use a taller stitch, it will create the same amount of stitch, but it give you a bigger size. So that's something to keep in mind to consider. Now let's talk about triple crochet. For triple crochet, it's an extended version of the double crochet. For double crochet, we yarn over once, but for triple crochet, we're gonna yarn over twice before you insert. So we insert the loop, yarn over, pull through. You now have actually 4 loops on your hook. So you yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. You have 2 loops left on your hook. Then you yarn over one more time to pull through these 2 loops. That's your triple crochet. Let's do it a few more times. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn over and pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops again, 2 loops left on your hook, and yarn over, pull through both. That's your triple crochet. One more time. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn it through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You have 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. And you have 2 loops left on your hook and yarn over and pull through them. So that's your triple crochet. Now let's compare the triple crochet with the other stitches. So this new row here is the row that I just did of triple crochets. This is extended double crochet, this is double crochet, and This is single crochet. So as you can see, treble crochet is the tallest of these stitches. Then we have extended double crochet, and the shortest is the single crochet. So in terms of the gap, triple crochet feels like there's more gap in between those stitches compared to double crochet. It's just a tiny difference. Triple crochet would be a lot stretchier compared to the other stitches. When you are creating your own project, keep these in mind. And also, what I like to do is when I see a pattern, when I see a photo of a crochet project, sometimes if you see, say, a leaf, you know, they have the center is longer and then the sides slowly round down, things like that. They are usually a combination of these different stitches in tallness so that it creates that effect. The next stitch I want to show you is called slip stitch. So slip stitch is usually used to close out a row, or when you finish a project, you want to wrap up the project, wrap up the stitch, you will use slip stitch. For slip stitch, just like you do with a single crochet, you don't need to yarn over, but with your hook on the working loop, insert the V and yarn over and pull through. For slip stitch, instead of yarn over again, you would pull through this loop over to the back loop, just like this. So that way it's almost like a knot. Let's do that one more time. Insert, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to pull it through one more time to the back loop here. Let's do that one more time. Insert, yarn over, pull through, and then pull it through to the back loop. So that's our slip stitch. So if I look at the entire row, my slip stitch is just like the top of a single crochet stitch. Last but not least, let's talk about the magic circle. So the magic circle is very commonly used when you start a 3D project. So say you are making a crochet animal. It's such an intimidating concept because a lot of the tutorials on YouTube will show you this wrap around the fingers and pull through. If you are an absolute beginner, it's very confusing to understand. This is how I understand it, and this is how I make my magic circle. So remember the slip knot. Hold the short yarn, hold the long working yarn, you hold the other end, and you create a slip knot. But instead of pull it tight, we have two loops now. For a slip knot, you would pull it tight, you would insert your hook here and pull it tight. But instead of pulling it tight, we will insert the hook right here, and you hold the bigger loop open. So this bigger loop is your magic circle. Say if we are creating a coaster, we will chain one, and then we will use this bigger loop as our magic circle to start doing single crochets. Once you have enough single crochets for your project to start, you can just pull this short yarn close. There's your beginning of a 3D project. So that's how I make my magic circle. Let's do that one more time. So pretend that we're making a slip knot. Instead of pulling it tight, the top loop is our working loop. It's connected to our working yarn. So the top loop is our working loop. We insert the hook here. Don't pull the short tail to make this tight, but leave this big loop open that is our magic circle. So we will start creating stitches in this big loop. So these are the most basic stitches to get you started on crocheting. I hope you find this helpful. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.